I wish I had a pair, lad, but they barely fit in my ears. This headphone barely fits in. You can see I've got the cauliflower ears going on.
Yeah.
So when I put AirPods in, they just stick out a bit funny. So
yeah, even with like the smaller buds in, they're still like proper.
Well, I haven't tried them. They're a bit expensive, them, aren't they? So I thought I'll just be cheap and wear these, the ones you get with your phone.
Yeah. Can you get? I've never actually thought about it. Can you get earphones? Earbuds for like if you got cauliflower ear? Do they make anything like that?
I don't know. I struggle to get. I can't go running with these. They end up falling out because I have to jam it into my ear. So if I go running and stuff, I have to wear the big over ear like Beat style ones. So it's not the best, but just crack on, don't we?
Yeah, I've never tried wearing any even like my headphones, like even over ear ones I've got like while working out because I'm always worried about getting them like proper sweaty. But then I've seen you can buy ones, can't you, with like the actual foam bits you can take off and wash, I think, can't you? For that reason. I think I need to get like a pair of them for something like working out.
I've just got some like Bose ones. I think they're my dad's, to be honest, and I wear them and I just give them a wipe down afterwards. I don't even take the thing off. I just wipe them with like a surface cleaner wipe. So So I've not caught any mad rashes off wearing them yet, and I'm running them quite a lot. So
yeah. Do you have any what you about listening to music while working out? Do you have any, what is your go-to music when you're working out? Do you have any sort of any guilty pleasure music?
At the minute, I've been listening to a lot of Lil Baby, to be honest. Been listening to Lil Baby when I'm working out, and I like Drake's new album actually as well. That Certified Lover Boy. If you listen to that,
yeah,
I like a bit of Drake.
Yeah, really. I've never actually I listen to all his hit. You know, I mean, obviously hear his hits like God's Plan and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But never, he's never never actually appealed to me listening to properly one of his albums.
No, his new one's good. You have a listen to Certified Lover Boy. It's sound, a few good songs on there. But yeah, I listen to probably rap when I train.
Yeah,
I'd say
I'm more of a Kanye fan.
Well, I didn't like that Don to me. I don't think it was the best. No, there's a few good songs. That one with The Weeknd.
I've not sat down and properly listened to it yet. I've been a bit too busy. It's a long album there.
Yeah, it's not great, to be honest. I didn't really like it, but each to their own.
Yeah. You got any? So it's just Drake then for you when you're working out. Does he have like a lot of high energy songs?
Yeah, definitely a lot. Yeah, Drake and Lil Baby and Lil Durk been listening to. So just raps. To be honest with you, lad, I'm not one of them who listens to loads of tunes when I train, especially like when I'm doing my MMA. Obviously, we're just on the match training, and then if I go for a run and stuff like that, I'll put a bit of rap on. But I don't. I like listening to my own breath when I'm training and just getting in my own head. Do you know what I mean? Just getting in that mental zone and pushing. But yeah, if it was something to hype me up to train, it would be rap music over house or anything like that. I don't really like listening to house music and that when I train. So yeah, rap's me go-to. And at the minute, I'm listening to a lot of Drake and a lot of Lil Baby and stuff like that. So
yeah, I wanted to ask you some bit different questions, mate. Because I know you're very, like you said, just come off another interview, very in high demand at the minute, doing a lot of promo stuff for your upcoming title fight. So I wanted to try and chuck a few different, maybe a bit weirder questions at you.
That's nice. I like that. It changes it up because you get used to answering the same questions over and over again, especially for this fight. Like you said, it's been my most publicized fight so far. So I've had to do a lot of sort of media obligations and stuff like that for it, which, don't be wrong, I enjoy. I like getting all the exposure. Do you know what I mean? It promotes the fight and it promotes me as an athlete and as a fighter. So I like doing it, but sometimes you get used to just repeating the same answer every time. Do you know what I mean? To the same question. So it's nice to get something new.
Which do you get the most often? Is it? How's your training camp going? That's probably the most.
Yeah, a lot of it's how's training camp going? What do you think of your opponent? Tell me about your last fight. So I've been getting used to talking about the Bullen fight and what I think of Dom and all stuff like that. So they're very generic questions. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it's nice to mix it up and answer something new.
Yeah, I think people tend to think of MMA fighters or cage fighters as being like one of the pretty tough people. So what would you say your biggest fear is? If it's obviously not getting in a cage and fighting other men, what would you say your biggest fear is? So inside or maybe outside the sport?
That's a really good question. What is my biggest fear? I'll have to have a think about that. So I don't know. I'm not really scared of heights. I don't think I've never had any issues with that. Mad. Do you know what? My most weird irrational fear, and I don't know why. I used to get. It's not so much anymore, but especially as a kid, I used to have a maddest fear that I was going to get buried alive, that I was going to like die, get buried, and then wake up in a coffin and just be like stuck underground. I don't know why that used to always freak me out. I used to like get scared sometimes when I was going to sleep in case somehow I like fell into this mad deep sleep. And then next minute I'd wake up and they'd assume I was dead and put me in a coffin. I don't know where that come from. Maybe I was like slightly claustrophobic as a kid, but like, a small space like that used to proper freak me out. And that's the only thing I can think of now, to be honest. There's not much else, but like that used to like proper scare me. I used to have nightmares about like waking up and being in a coffin. So
bit of a strange thing to think about for like a young lad. Like.
I know. I think I might have seen it in like a horror film once, like someone being put in a coffin, or like a gangster movie, like they put him in a coffin alive or something. And obviously I just saw it at the wrong time and at the wrong age, and it used to proper stick with me and freak me out. So that was like my biggest irrational fear growing up as a kid. But right now, I don't really know. I don't have too many fears at the minute, so it's all good.
Yeah. Do you remember when Misfits was on telly, like years ago?
Yeah, I never watched it though.
What? No, I used to love that show. Misfits. I think it was the sort of show where I was probably a bit too young to be watching it at the time. But like, I think there's someone in that got buried alive, and his like power in the show was that he was like immortal. And I remember watching that when I was a kid and being like a bit freaked out by that.
Yeah, there you go. It's a weird thing, like, it's scary. That would be, wouldn't that be horrible though? You can see why I'd be scared. That'd be the worst thing in the world, to wake up and get stuck in a coffin. But it'd be terrible. So yeah, it's a mad one. It is a mad one, but that's what used to freak me out the most. That was like my nightmare as a kid.
What do you think you'd do if that happened?
Fuck me, I don't know. Screaming, trying to ask for help, but obviously there's not much you can do, is there? Do you know what I mean? You see Kill Bill, she's in a coffin, and she like 1 inch punches through the coffin. Climbs her way out. I'd probably do that. I'd just climb my way out. I'd just punch through the coffin and crawl out through the soil. But I don't know. You're in a bit of a tough spot there, aren't you? You're waking up in a coffin, like.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a bit more odd one, like.
Yeah, it's an odd one, but there you go.
Obviously, you're like you're in training camps because you fight like fairly regularly. If if you don't mind me saying, obviously like often training camps. Where's if you were to take a bit of a break, where is like your dream sort of holiday destination? Getting out the country.
That's another good question. I like these. I was not ready to answer questions like this today, but that's a good question. Where I like to go. I've always wanted to go to Thailand, to be honest. Again, it wouldn't be much of a break, so go and train out there. I'd love to go to like Tiger Muay Thai and all stuff like that. But obviously, there's nice beaches and everything else to do there, and loads of sites to go and see. So I'd love to go to Thailand.
That's a bit of a typical one this year at this point, like gap year in Thailand, innit?
Yeah, I wouldn't do a full year. I'd go for a few months to train. Like it'd be a training holiday if I went. Do you know what I mean? Or just to America. I like going to America. I've been to Florida a few times and been to California and trained out there. So like, I know you said where to go to break, but to be honest with you, I was to go away. My dream holidays are all like training holidays. Other than that, I'd go anywhere with a nice beach with me bird. Do you know what I mean? Just a nice little week to get away. I went to Greece with me bird a couple of years ago. That was nice. So somewhere where it's hot and there's a nice beach and preferably some good MMA gyms to train at as well whilst I'm there.
I was going to say, both your first two places were to do with training, like Thailand for you, like Muay Thai, and then America. Well, like we said, you've been training before.
Yeah, that's it. Can't get away from training, lads. I don't want to take too long off, so always bear that in mind. If I'm going to go away, I'll try and scout the area for some gyms to go and train at.
Yeah. Where were you training when you were out in the States?
So I went to, the first time I literally went on a family holiday to Florida. We went to like Disney World, and very fortunate enough, my dad was put a shift in and drove me to Miami, which is like probably about a 3-hour drive, to be honest, from where we were staying. But he took me to American Top Team because I told him it was obviously one of the biggest gyms in the world and I really wanted to train there. So thankful for that. My dad drove me that whole day, took off the holiday to drive me there, watch me train for a couple of hours, and then we drove back. So that was the first like bit of training I've done over there. But like I said, it was only for a day. And then the other year, I think it was 2018. Yeah, I was only about 17 then at that time. Maybe even 16, something like that. And then the second time I went was when I was 20, so it was like 3 years ago. I went to California and I went purposefully to train at Alpha Male for 2 weeks. So I went and stayed at one of the fighter houses out there and trained at Alpha Male for 2 weeks. That was a pretty good experience. And I haven't done anything like that since. Obviously, COVID kind of happened last year, didn't it, as well? So it was tough to get away. But I'd definitely like to go on another training holiday and go somewhere else. I've always wanted to go to Thailand, like I said. And I'd love to even go to Canada to train at Faraz Sahabi's gym, GSP, where GSP trains, TriStar.
Yeah, TriStar,
Yeah, I'd love to go there as well. So there's a few gyms I'd like to go and train at, or even Stanford MMA.
Yeah,
in Florida as well.
Do you think there's any big differences in the gyms out there to like sort of next gen over there and the gyms over there?
Definitely not. I think the level over here is just as good, if not better, than over there. That's what I got from going to Alpha Male anyway. It was a big sort of confidence boost. At the time, I was still an amateur fighter. Do you know what I mean? And I was nowhere near the level I'm at now. And I was holding my own with some of the pro fighters out there and getting in the mix. I got a role in with Uriah Faber and all stuff like that. So it was a great experience. But yeah. But if anything I took from it was confidence, knowing that in my gym we're doing all the right things and we've got a very high level of fighter and we can compete with all the USA gyms. And I think you're going to see that now, especially over the next few years. I think UK MMA is really on the rise. And I think it's a good time to be training, especially in my gym, next generation.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty obvious in next gen as well, obviously. Molly, Paddy, and just, like yourself as well, just rising through the UK ranks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. So in the next few years, next gen is going to be taking over that UFC, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, obviously got Liam Malloy as well joining you.
Yeah, Liam's making his Cage Warriors debut. I'm very excited about that. Liam literally has been a diamond to me this camp. He's the best, he's the best at playing my opponent for this next fight. And he fought about 5 weeks ago, and then he come maybe even 4 weeks ago, and he come right back in after his fight the Monday after to do my training camp with me. And now it's paid off perfectly because he's managed to get a fight on Cage Warriors. So he stayed in shape for me, obviously, for my fight, and now he's been rewarded with a fight. So we're going to both do this camp together, and then we get to fight together on the same night and then celebrate together afterwards. So it's perfect ending to the fight camp.
Did he know about his Cage Warriors debut before his previous fight?
No, so he fought and then he come right back in for me, and there was basically, our coach Paul had said to him, I'm going to try and get you a fight on Cage Warriors, so stay ready for that as well. But Liam's just such a good training partner. He'd have come back in just to help me get ready for my fight, do you know what I mean? So that's the type of guy he is. But then obviously it's paid off for him doing that because he stayed in shape. He's been doing 5 rounds with me most weeks in the cage, and now he's just got a little 3-round fight against someone. So it's going to be perfect. He's going to be pushing the pace in that, and he's sharper than ever. And like I said, he's done my fight camp with me, so we've both peaked together perfectly. And I'm excited to see him make a lot of noise now in the Cage Warriors featherweight division, which is a very exciting division as well. There's a lot of good guys at his weight class, and I'm confident Liam will just run through them all. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, man. So when you're not in fight camp and you're a bit more relaxed and you're eating, what's your favorite cheat meal?
So this I can talk about. I like this. So basically, normally my bird will get me a box of cakes for after my fight. So we'll go to like a little local Instagram business and get cookie pies. Have you seen them before?
Are they they're not like actual pies, are they? But they're just like the massive round.
It's like a slice of cake, but it's made out of cookie dough. So I'll normally get a few of them. I'll get a few brownies, a few blondies, all just different. I'm like a sweet tooth type of guy, so my go-to is like sweets 100% and chocolate after a fight. So I get one of them. I'll normally put it on my Instagram, like a little highlight of what my bird gets me every time. She's a diamond, like she sorts me out after every fight with the box full of cakes and blondies and brownies. So that's like the thing I look forward to the most. But then, to be honest with you, the last few times right after the fight, I've been back in the Cage Warriors hotel, so it's just Deliveroo, whatever's on Deliveroo. Last time I got a burger, and that hit the spot, to be honest. So I'll probably get a burger again this time, burger and chips standard.
Where from?
Well, last time I literally didn't get back to the hotel till like 11:30, so most places were shut. So I got this thing called like an Honest Burger. Have you ever had one of them? No. It was all right, It was,
I was expecting like a Burger King or something
No, well, you know what? Sometimes I will just get like a little shitty Mackey's or a Burger King or something after the fight. But if you've not had that sort of cheap food for so long, you don't just want to go and get a standard, McDonald's or KFC or something like that. You can do that in the week after. So I always try and get.
I've not heard of Honest. Is it like an independent place or is it like?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It was just on delivery. It was like Honest, but I feel like it's like a bit of a gourmet burger kitchen type thing. Do you know what I mean? Or like a Five Guys, something like that. Honest Burger, it's just one of them, but it was a decent burger. It's nice.
Yeah.
It hit the spot anyway. But to be honest with you, most things that hit the spot after the fight camp where you've been dieting for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Is it a big weight cut for you? Like,
it's getting bigger fight by fight. Where I'm getting older now, I'm 23, so I'm growing into my frame, and I feel like I used to be a fairly small bantamweight, whereas now I feel like I'm the other end. I'm a pretty big bantamweight. So it's not an easy weight cut, but it's smooth. Do you know what I mean? I'll never have any problem making the weight, but I've definitely got to be a lot more disciplined now on my diet than what I used to be. I used to get away with eating shit until like 3 or 4 weeks out from the fight, and then I'd have to diet. But to be honest with you, I prefer that I've got to be more switched on, because if anything, it just keeps me more dedicated, more focused. My training quality is better because I'm eating better quality food from further out. Yeah, I've started to make it more of like a lifestyle now, where I don't like to get too big in between fights and stuff. So I keep relatively clean diet all year. I mean, obviously after the fight, you have a little binge. Do you know what I mean? That's standard, but I don't
I was
like
going to ask you,
to
that just completely crash afterwards after like good, like over a month of dieting.
Yeah, you do. Don't get me wrong. I have a few days where I go mad. You know what I mean? And I get bloated and I feel like shit, and then that makes you want to go back to eating normal again. So it's a nice little full circle. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm getting better and better after each fight. The last fight, especially, I was very switched on, where I had a bit of shit for like 2 or 3 days after the fight, and then I was right back into training and back to a fairly regular, healthy diet. So I didn't put on too much weight after my last fight.
Yeah. Do you find it actually affects your training if you're eating shit, or do you just couldn't? Are you the sort of person that can just eat whatever and still train like as you normally would?
So I used to eat like a load of chocolate and stuff in fight camp and still get away with it. Now I think obviously every time you cut weight, it affects your metabolism. I'm getting older, so I'm getting bigger. So I definitely notice a difference. And especially like eating sugar and shitty food, you can tell when you're putting crap in your body, and then as opposed to when you're putting healthy, nutritious food in your body. Do you know what I mean? Just for little things like more inflammation, you feel sorer when you're eating shit as opposed to when you're eating clean. It's a lot easier to recover. So not only just like for making weight, but for quality of training, I think it's more important to be eating, whole nutritious foods as opposed to shitty processed foods. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, from what you were saying earlier about like in America, visit like getting your dad to help you visit like different gyms out there. I feel like I can understand your parents knew you wanted to be like a fighter from fairly young, but how did they react when you sort of told them you wanted to properly pursue it as a career?
Do you know what? My parents are so supportive. I'm not even gonna lie. Like they're absolutely brilliant, and I wouldn't be in the position I am now without their support. Do you know what I mean? Like I still live at home with my mum and dad. They're like all for me pursuing this fighting career. Initially, when I first went to the fighting gym, my mum was a little bit like, "Oh, what's it? Cage fighting you're doing? I don't know about that." But obviously, they come to all my fights. They see how much I put into it, and they know that I'm going to be successful. So they're fully behind me, and I'm so grateful for like everything they've done for me. Do you know what I mean? Especially in the last few years since I've gone pro and I've not been working. I've just been fighting full time. So to have them supporting me means a lot, and I credit a lot of my success to just the way they've brought me up and the way they support me. So I'm very, very grateful to have the parents that I've got.
Yeah. Do they come to each of your fights? Like,
yeah, they come to everyone. Obviously, the last few, there's been no crowd, so they've not been able to come, but they've watched it at home or in I got it on in a sports bar in Southport, the other one, so they went there to watch it. But they'll be coming to this one, which is the title fight, so it's a big one, so that's what matters.
Yeah, glad that it's finally back in front of obviously your title fight in front of an audience again.
Yeah, that's it. It's perfect timing. Do you know what I mean? My last 3 fights have been without a crowd, and now the first fight back with a crowd is my title fight. So perfect for me, that. And even though I'm fighting in London on a Thursday night, so it's a bit awkward for all my friends and family to get to, it just shows the support I've got. I'm still taking about 70 heads from Southport and Liverpool down to London to watch me on a Thursday night. So it's boss support, and I just can't wait to be celebrating them with them all after the fight. It's going to be it's going to be an amazing night, and literally I'm so excited for it now.
Yeah, you definitely would have been a bit upset then if it was had to be behind closed doors again.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd have still jumped to the opportunity to fight for the belt, even if it was behind closed doors. But it's just nice knowing that I'm going to have all my close ones there with me when I achieve this goal, which obviously has been like a big milestone in my career since I got into MMA, really. Do you know what I mean? So it was a massive moment, and to share that with all them is just going to make it even more special.
Yeah. Out of obviously all the like the celebrity boxing matches and stuff going on at the minute, if you could have like choose anyone from like for a bit of fun for a boxing match, who would you go for? Don't have to be like a boxer, just like anyone, like celebrity.
Who would I fight?
Yeah, just like a bit of fun in the ring.
At the minute, I'd fight Jake Paul because he's getting everyone paid, isn't he? He's the money fight. So
Yeah.
I'd get in there with Jake Paul. But if it was anyone and we were getting paid for it, I don't know. Who winds me up? Who would I like to fight?
I think someone like Steve-O from like Jackass would be a bit of a funny one.
Yeah, laugh. He'd probably be a game kid. He'd get stuck right in, wouldn't he? He don't feel any pain either, so you'd have to put him away to stop it. That would be funny. I can't really think of anyone else, to be honest. There's no celebrities that piss me off enough for me to want to get in there and fight them. Do you know what I mean? Just the biggest name. It's got the most.
Oh, it's funny you've gone to someone like you immediately tried to think of someone that you hate to like fight.
Yeah,
not something to have a bit of a laugh with.
So,
yeah.
Well, you're not having a laugh in that cage, are you? You're fighting someone.
Fair enough.
Life or death in there, so it'd have to be someone I don't like. But I can't think of anyone. I'd go Jake Paul, the money fight.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely getting a lot of people paid at the minute. Isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's doing fair play to him. Do you know what I mean? He's smashing it. Like I know it's obviously a bit of a gimmick and it's not real boxing, but at the end of the day, he gets a lot of stick. But if you look at most professional boxers early on in the career, they fight a bunch of journeymen anyway. So where he's building up this record of beating obviously not real fighters and MMA fighters and stuff like that, he didn't be fighting a bunch of journeymen anyway if he was to do it legit and you know what I mean, be a proper pro boxer. So I think fair play to him. He's getting a lot of eyes, a lot of attention, and he's making a lot of money off it. So he's doing something right.
Yeah. I sort of resent the fact that I'm starting to like him just a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I like him, I'm not gonna lie. I like Jake Paul as well. I reckon he's doing good things for himself, and he's only a young kid, you know what I mean? He's like 24, something like that. He's not much older than me. And he's making millions fighting a bunch of shit fighters, getting all this attention on the sport, and he's making a lot of noise. So fair play to him.
Yeah. Right, mate. Well, last sort of daft question for you. What's the largest animal you reckon you could take in a fight?
What's the largest animal I could take in a fight? Give me a silverback gorilla, lads. I'll take him down, no problem. Take his back, put him away. Give me a big bear like Khabib. Oh yeah, all day. Go for the rear naked choke on anything. No, realistically, I could probably take on like a big dog. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I just want to say, my YouTube channel no way advocates the harming of animals. It's just a bit of fun.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Get that in there now.
Yeah.
Don't want to be getting shouted at by all the PETA and that, the animal protection agency or whatever.
They're in my DMs anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I reckon I could take on a dog, maybe a big dog, maybe a wolf. I don't know. When you get into like sort of jungle cats and stuff like that, they probably kill me. So. Yeah, I'll go for the big dog. I reckon I could take a dog's back and put it in a rear naked choke. I could have a go, a baby bear like Khabib done when he was a kid, little baby bear. But I don't know, not a big grizzly. I'd probably rip my head off.
What's that Leonardo DiCaprio movie where he gets absolutely shredded by one?
Oh, the Divergent. No, not Divergent.
The Revenant.
The Revenant. That's it. Yeah,
that looked brutal.
Yeah.
That. I don't think I can manage that.
I didn't. I started watching that film and just got bored because it's just him the whole way through, innit? It's a pretty weird film.
I watched it at the cinema and it's pretty heavy. I think he spends most of the movie like panting.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it, mate. I jibbed it.
Yeah. Obviously, I think you turned pro back in 2019, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that's back then. Did you think you'd be at this stage in your career 2 years later?
Do you know what? No, I didn't, honestly. It's come around pretty quick. Like 2 years from turning pro to fighting for the Cage Warriors title is pretty amazing, to be honest. But it's just all down to consistency. I was fighting regular. I've been working hard. I've not got out of the gym at all in those years. And I've progressed my level on so much in those 2 years as well. Another thing is when I turned pro, I already knew the level I was at. When I turned over pro, I think I could have competed with the best in Europe then. So I was ready for the opportunity at that time. It was just about getting the experience and getting the fights in. And I've done that because I take my training very seriously. I take my nutrition very seriously. So I've stayed active. Do you know what I mean? I've stayed training and stayed getting better. And that's ultimately why I've been able to put myself in this spot so early on, where a lot of other fighters have a bit more of a rough and tumble career. And, you know, they might be pro for 5, 6, 7 years before they get the shot that I'm getting now. But I'm just so much more professional than all those guys, and I do it right, and that's why I've ended up where I am today.
Yeah, not fighting anyone. Fighting everyone with a good, winning record has definitely helped progress that as well, I think.
1,000,000%. Like I said before, most fighters get into it and they fight a few journeymen, a few bums, pad the record a little bit, and before they get on the bigger shows like Cage Warriors, where for me, I started my pro career on Cage Warriors. You know what I mean? So my first pro fight was against someone who was 4-0. So I'm constantly fighting a good level of competition. And that's why I'm only 6 fights deep into my career, but I'm so experienced now and so comfortable in the big fights and in big spots because I've been doing it since I turned pro. So, yeah, this feels, obviously it's a big occasion and a big moment in my career, but it doesn't feel like a big moment to me. It feels like the right next step. Do you know what I mean? So I'm 100% ready for this shot, and I can't wait to get in there and fight for the Cage Warriors title next week.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear, man. Given another 2 years, then where do you see yourself then?
Challenging for the UFC title, to be honest. I see myself realistically. I don't want to look past this fight, right? This is like the biggest fight of my career so far. This is the first milestone that I've set myself to achieve. So all my focus is on this fight right now. But saying that, I think personally I'm going to win this belt on Thursday night. Probably defend it once, hopefully close to home in Liverpool or Manchester. Sell out a show there and headline it, get even more valuable experience, and then get signed to the UFC. So next year I want to be getting in the mix with the UFC guys, and I'm planning on doing in the UFC what I've done on Cage Warriors, running through everyone and finishing them all. So I reckon my time to the top won't be that long. So you're looking 2-3 years, I could be challenging for a UFC world title. So that's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for me.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, mate. Hopefully get you, Molly and Paddy on a card.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I think they were. Do you know what? I think now, especially the amount Paddy's blown up, they're going to bring a UFC back to Liverpool at some point. They're going to have to. Do you know what I mean? There's so many UK-based fighters, and a lot of them are up north now. Do you know what I mean? So the UFC London card that they normally do, I can see why they do it in London, but I don't see why in the next year or two they couldn't get Paddy headlining a show in Anfield. Do you know what I mean? Or get one in Goodison and get Molly on it, whatever. And that's perfect opportunity for me to get signed and make my UFC debut being a local fighter. So that's what I see happening. Or maybe just the UFC London, we'll see. But it's definitely not too far away for me. And I just can't wait to get in there and get in the mix with all the best guys in the world and prove to myself and to everybody else the level I'm at.
No, I'm looking forward to it, mate. Can I get a prediction for you then? Can I get a prediction for you for your next fight? I've got to ask you there.
That's fine, yeah. I can predict that I'm going to get a finish and walk away with the Cage Warriors bantamweight title wrapped around my waist. And I'm going to say second round.
Yeah. Is that by submission or strikes?
I don't want to give too much away. Well, we don't know. Been working on my hands, could knock him out, so we'll see. But most likely it's going to be a rear naked choke in it. Let's be honest. That's what the last thing been.
Let's be honest.
But we'll see. We'll say second round finish and Cage Warriors title wrapped around my waist, and I cannot wait for that.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it, mate. I appreciate you coming on to have a chat with me.
Is right, Joe. Nice one. Cheers for having us back on, mate.